Hello, Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything's going well. For anyone who's been following this channel, you may notice something interesting. I'm sitting. I'm not standing. I'm lazy. I might not even needed to point that out, but I am. And excited to be back creating content after a trip to Portugal, a trip to San Francisco. I'm back, baby. And here's a video that I wanted to make today because I was doing some research on keywords and I found that there was a lot of people asking this question. And the question is, can LSD kill you? And so I had sort of the first version of this article published, and it's like the answer I put is no, it cannot kill you. But it's like, that doesn't seem responsible. That doesn't seem like that might be the fullest answer here. And so I wanted to go deeper into this. And so first of all, disclaimer that I am not a doctor, and this is just from the research that I've done. Now I've got all the resources here. They'll be listed in the video below and on the website. And so, while there have been, as I'm about to detail, not cases documented where solely LSD has been, attributed to, from a pharmacological sense, to death, there are, risks with taking LSD, and there are risks of, behavior associated with LSD ending up in, either, harm or actual death. And so just wanted to put that out there right for the start. This is strictly for informational purposes. And I was just, again, surprised how many people were searching for this each month. And there are some sufficient answers in some cases out there, but they're not as easy to find. And so I've got them here. Now, I think the reason why one of these this question is asked is that there is some leftover sort of propaganda from the war against drugs. But I think at the same time, this is a reasonable concern. I think that people may be curious. I'm curious personally. Are they planning on using LSD, or are they just in general just asking this question and wondering what the answer is? So first of all, I guess, what is LSD? It's synthesized in a lab, so it's not like a natural substance like psilocybin, but it has been, it's a chemical precursor isolated from a fungal source. So, lots of great history from Albert Hofmann and sort of the discovery of LSD. If you're interested in that, go check that out. Lots of great video and content around that, and bike rides and all that great stuff. But, overall, LSD is usually taken in micrograms. So 1,000 micrograms equates to 1 milligram. So it's very, very potent. And like a standard dose of LSD is believed to be, about between 10, sort of a microdose, and 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams being quite strong, multiple tabs, generally with each tab being, around 100 and 120 micrograms. Now, the overdose effects of LSD, and this idea of an overdose, and what is this? This is a bad experience. Is it psychologically harmful? This idea that you actually dying from that pharmacologically, again, seems to be minimal evidence there, and any sort of deaths that have ever been involved, sort of a variety of factors surrounding the LSD usage that then all could contribute to a death. But this idea of an overdose, some people would say, a bad trip. It can be terrifying. You can have hallucinations. You can have visual ones, auditory ones. Sound. You can hear. You can hear colors. You can all these different things that come from it that can be really terrifying and unexpected when you have that experience. Or it could just be maybe you took too powerful of it, or it was the right moment in time and it impacted you, and you might not be prepared. Maybe there's things going on in your life, and all of a sudden this hopefully enjoyable experience turns into something that is terrifying, dangerous. Now there. Our sort of reports of on a great resource here, Erowid. I think this is one of the most sort of substantial sort of articles or pieces on there. So really overall looking at LSD death in general, and sort of talk about it. And as Haddad and Winchester stated in 1990, which was a long time ago, and lots of LSD has been consumed from there, documented deaths resulting directly from the toxic effects of LSD itself have not occurred, though LSD has been implicated in accidental deaths, suicides, and homicides. And as I was sort of saying, it really comes from generally suicide, which is a really devastating thing, and that's a huge risk in itself with taking LSD. Also dangerous behavior, climbing something, falling off, maybe believing you can fly, jumping off, or I think, what also seems to happen is that you get maybe involved in a police interaction and you're hallucinating, or you're struggling, and that can lead to a fatality. Maybe you're interacting with, someone, maybe you're in a city and something and you say something, or you look at someone wrong, a fight occurs and some sort of things happen. But as a whole, LSD is not really toxic in a biological sense. And then there has been a lot of reviews and sort of work done to look at it. Now, there have been they've got this sort of column here, which is possible pharmacological fatalities, which is, super interesting about a couple highlighted cases. Generally seems, maybe this article hasn't been updated, the most recent being 2017, more being further back. But again, generally there's some sort of obfuscating evidence that this was actually directly from the LSD. Pharmacologically, it's something to do with a behavior or something that actually took place. So again, this is an article. As always, I've always got these resources here. They'll be popped in so you can check this out. Now, there was one thing that was super interesting, is that there is a similar hallucinogen called 25I NBOME, 25I for short, and that's made the rounds in recreational circles. And apparently there is, I believe, the possibility of an overdose from that. So people have actually took this substance thinking it was LSD and, maybe doing a large dose. And then there's been, I'm not sure if exact deaths, but there has been, serious consequences to that. And again, technically it seems that LSD, you can't take so much. So my first answer in this article was, a little too abrupt, too simple, and not necessarily even, true, thinking that there are, many ways that experience on LSD can lead to it. And, there are other ones where this idea of an overdose actually, super strong sort of moments where, and I've got this article here, which is super fascinating, by Mark Hayden from so basically MAPS Canada, sort of talking about these massive overdoses of LSD that actually led to, curing of mental conditions, curing of certain things. So there are actually some, I guess, counter narratives here that an overdose on LSD has actually resolved in, positive outcomes. So something super interesting to think about. Now, people, there are lots of side effects on LSD. I think I have a couple articles here where you can actually check out the side effects. I'll see if I can, find that. There's also a video from 2017, and sort of this myth, or maybe not myth, but a story about someone dying from an LSD overdose, and lots of sort of questions that have been. But I again wanted to sort of add sort of my own sort of thought and perspective on this, and you can see a little bit more of some other molecules that have been part of it. Now, one thing that I think wanted to mention just from a safety perspective, or reduction of harm, is that, depending on your background, your history, there are, concerns, say genetically, if families have depression or schizophrenic or bipolar, in your family, or if you've exhibited symptoms of that in the past, then maybe you should be considering your use of LSD, at least looking at it more safely. And I think overall the recommendation is that you should be with a partner, with a friend, with a care provider. It's obviously not necessarily legal or decriminalized in many places, but a health professional who has experiences. Someone should have experiences with these substances. And then generally, if someone is having a bad experience or an overdose and they're scared there could be harm, whether that's physically to themselves, to others, reckless behavior that could lead to something, I think, it is recommended. While, sometimes people want to, sort of not get, medical or authorities involved, it is, recommended to seek emergency medical treatment or support. And that can save someone overall. So, LSD can be really beautiful, healing, but there are these side effects. There are challenges with psychosis that is not temporary, that is permanent, that brings out, people have talked about bringing out schizophrenia or bipolar, and the challenges there. And there's still a lot of research going on in this space. And obviously, the research is hard to do when these drugs are not being, not legal or decriminalized. But either or, thinking of support, the idea of where your mindset is at, where you're doing it, what responsibilities do you have, where are you in life, all of these can lead to healthy, valuable LSD experiences. And, overall, I think the goal for all of us here is that we want this answer to be to can LSD kill you? We want that answer to be no. We want people to be healthy, happy, safe, ingesting these substances and getting the positive part of it. And, yes, there's this argument around negative sort of experiences or bad trips. Many people have been really, it's felt very harmful in the moment, but then later on, those have been transformational moments that have led them to be better versions of themselves. I think overall, though, most people would like to see safe, happy, healthy trips. And I know that there are some, lots of great work going on there. So if you're interested in this question, can LSD kill you? There's some great resources out there. I've obviously talked a little bit my perspective, not a doctor, just from the research that I've done. And all these resources will be below the video on the website. I hope this was informative to you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.